Tuesdays are supposed to be harmless. This one started like most of mine in Seattle. Rain doing that indecisive miss thing. Coffee hot, phone in hand, biggest decision being Thai or pizza later. Then Frank, my mailman of 5 years and the unwilling custodian of my Amazon shame, knocked like he was delivering a verdict. "Something fancy for you," he said, holding up a blindingly white envelope. The boutique paper kind that costs more than a decent lunch. My name was written in handwriting so perfect it had to be printed by a robot with feelings. Return address: Claire Morrison. Technically, it isn't Morrison anymore, but whatever. 3 years ago, she left our marriage with all the tenderness of canceling a free trial. She wanted corner offices and hostile takeovers. I wanted to make music and breathe. We split, clean, no texts, no "how are yous," just parallel lives. Inside. The envelope. A wedding invitation. Gold embossing, curated elegance, the works. At the bottom, in the handwriting I once knew better than my own: "I hope you'll attend." No explanation, no context, just confidence. The kind that assumes you'll orbit when summoned. I should have tossed it. Instead, 2 days later, I was, choosing a suit that said "I'm fine. Thanks for asking," and walking into a ballroom that looked like money had built itself a cathedral. Chandeliers glowed like they charged rent on the light. People sparkled like Christmas trees that knew a hedge fund. I parked myself near a wall with a drink and watched the show. String quartet in the corner, murmurs about portfolios and yachts, smiles that didn't reach eyes. That's when I met Owen Ward, groom and human embodiment of a trust fund smirk. Tailored within an inch of his soul, Rolex screaming in 14 languages. "You look lost," he said, tone dipped in condescension. "Here with catering?" "Nope." He stepped closer, took me in like inventory. "You're the high school dropout, right? Do yourself a favor and cut ties with my wife." It got quieter around us in that way rich rooms do when they smell drama. Before I bothered replying, a voice I actually liked cut in. "Ryan Clark, Claire's younger brother, and the only member of that dynasty who didn't treat music like background noise for mergers. Still making friends, I see," he said, grinning. To me, under his breath, "Does he know who you are?" "He?" "Will," I said. Here's the thing Owen didn't know. While Claire climbed her ladder, I toured, wrote, built. The late-night sets turned into sold-out rooms. The indie record label found its legs. Investments started compounding. I kept it quiet because real wealth doesn't need a megaphone, but it does need a bank, specifically their bank. So I pulled out my phone and spoke just loud enough for the nearest tables, and Owen to hear. "Sure. I'll cut ties. I'll start by closing my $900 million account at your bank." Time didn't stop, but everything else tried. Glasses froze mid-air. Conversations clipped themselves. Claire went pale. Owen's face performed a slideshow titled "The 5 Stages of Oh No." "I'm sorry. What?" he managed. "900 million, I said. 9, followed by 8 zeros. Phones appeared like prairie dogs. Heads dipped. The murmurs turned into O. That, as the Googling commenced. Ryan watched like a kid on Christmas morning. Within a minute, the room knew. Claire's new husband had just told one of their biggest clients, the ex-husband no less, to get lost. It was the financial equivalent of kicking a hornet's nest and then suing the hornets. I didn't gloat. I just finished my drink, nodded at Ryan, and stepped into the night. Marble stairs underfoot, city lights spread out like ambition pretending to be stars. Heels clicked behind me. "I was wrong about you," Claire said. "No," I told her. "You were wrong about what mattered." She flinched just a fraction. Success had carved something harder into her face, something I didn't recognize. We stood in that expensive quiet, and I realized I didn't owe the past a monologue. I walked. By morning, the internet had done what it does. Wedding guests had captured the confrontation from 17 angles. Headlines bloomed, bank CEO's husband insults client. loses 900 mailers in one night. Meme makers devoured Owen's expression at the moment of impact. Someone set his meltdown to a trap beat that was annoyingly catchy. Industry blogs debated client sensitivity like it was a new asset class. My phone lit up with interview requests and offers to leverage the moment. I brewed coffee and said no to all of it. The point of having screw you money is not having to perform for an audience you didn't invite. 3 days later, Claire called. "I hope you're happy," she said, tired more than angry. "I am," I said, and meant it. Not because of the spectacle, because the noise was finally outside of me instead of inside. After I hung up, I sat at the piano. An old melody found my hands, a line I'd written years back when Rain on Windows felt like a metronome. It wasn't for critics or charts or executives measuring click-through rates on sentiment. It was for me. The notes wandered, picked up the scars and shine of the last 3 years, came back truer. Here's the truth I kept circling until it finally let me land. I didn't win because I embarrassed anyone or moved a decimal that scared a bank. I won the day I stopped trying to be the man someone else could quantify. The money is a side effect. The freedom is the point. Claire had always performed success. Rungs climbed, rooms conquered, a life that photographed well. Owen performed. Importance by proximity. I used to perform acceptability, sanding down my edges so they'd stack neatly with someone else's goals. Then I stopped. The internet kept feasting. Think pieces, remixes, a documentary-length breakdown of Wedding Gate because everything needs a suffix now. I let it scroll past. Outside my window, the city kept being itself, noisy, impossible, endlessly human. Inside, the melody settled into something new. A conversation between the kid who chose piano over textbooks and the man who never needed permission to keep playing. Success isn't having more. It's waking up and recognizing the person you get to be all day. On that Tuesday of all days, I finally did.